Hi, I'm András Bártházi, and I will talk about client-side JavaScript MVC frameworks today. I'm working at Prezi in the support team, and I'm a lead engineer. This is the largest team at Prezi, about 20 people, but we are 2 engineers inside the team. When I joined the support team last October, they had an admin system and it worked, but it wasn't the best. It was slow, it was ugly, it was not the most convenient solution. It was generated with Django admin, and it looked like an admin system generated. We had to make a decision how to move further, and we said that, okay, let's go with a different way, not improve this solution, but create a very different one. We are using now MVC, JavaScript MVC and Solar, and it's so popular in the company that even other teams are using this interface. So it was not a big decision for me to using JavaScript MVC and not a server-side one, because I believe that it's much faster, much convenient for the users. I can do much faster interactions with it. The user just starts typing, and we can display the results, no page loading, no waiting at all. Even the user don't have to click at all, just type the search query and the results will be displayed. So we made another decision. We wrote this solution quickly, but we wrote bad code, and we think it's good because we delivered the system very fast to our users, the support agents. They liked it, they started using it, and it was delivered much faster, much earlier than if we do it right, with a lot of planning and research. As we started writing it, we started discovering what are the best MVCs around, what should we use, how we can decide about it. So it was a long development, and I think that now we have a system, and we know what we have to rewrite, what are the needs of our users, the agents, and we can do a much better solution for them. I mean code quality, because we know exactly what we want to do. It's something like lean development, but it's not a public product, but an internal one. Oops. So our goal was structured, reusable code, separation of concerns, and I started discovering the possibilities. Today I will compare 3 different frameworks to you. Backbone.js with the Marionette extension, Ember.js and Angular.js. It's not a secret, Angular.js is my favorite, but I will show you the other ones because I think that it can be a very different decision for you. It depends on the situation. So I have a demo. I have two screenshots about our current system, and I created an example project in the 3 different frameworks. Our current solution looks like this. As you can see, hopefully, there are a lot of features in this system, but the main feature is that agents can search for users. And they just start typing the Google way, and it displays the results as soon as they finish typing. And it displays a card about the user and if you click on the last item, so they can go back very fast to the list. So my example application is very simple. It has 2 views. One of the views is just a basic clock widget, and the other view is this kind of search that you start typing, and then we display the result. At the moment, the result is all the characters you typed with the ASCII code of the characters, so nothing really useful. But you can change this code to make an AJAX call and display real results. Okay, let me show you. Oops. Okay, so this is my example. All the 3 applications looks like this, so there are not so much difference here. But as you can see, there's the clock, and if I click to the user, there is the search field. When I click, the navigation menu will switch to the user, as everyone would like to see it. So, and if I start typing, the results just displayed. And you may notice that not just it displayed, but the URL is very different. It's now user/search/the query. And if I remove it, then it will go back to /user. So the idea is that agents can send the queries to each other in email, in chat, and it proved to be useful, very useful. Okay, so back to the presentation. So the features are the navigation widget, that's 2 buttons, and if you go to URL, then it will reflect on which URL you are at the moment. We have routing, /user, and /home. We have auto-updating content. I think it's useful. This clock widget is a very basic example, but you will do status widgets, doing AJAX requests and display some information. We display the number of tickets for our users, for example. And so I think it's interesting how we can solve it. We will have a binding on the key-up event. So when you start typing, we display the elements and the search input and results. So I'm going to show you a lot of code now, and I think it's very interesting how different MVCs solve this problem. I don't believe I will show you the perfect code, but I believe that this will be a good example to get the idea how that exact MVC is working. So let's start with Backbone and Marionette. It's funny, Backbone 1.1 was just released on Thursday, 2 days ago. It's more like a library, not a framework, but you can extend it with Marionette, for example, or other extensions, and it will be a more frameworkish. It's very small, very easy to learn, and you will see that it helps you, but maybe not enough. It depends on your taste. Marionette is an extension that reduces some boilerplate for views, do memory management, and other things you can see here. Okay, so we have a router. This is how Backbone and Marionette defines routing. As you can see, I not just declared the URLs, the paths, but I also listed some controllers. These are controllers embedded into the routing. I may remove it and move it to a real controller object, but as I have to define something for the home, some code, I think this is the most easiest way to embed the code here. At the routing definition, I have a route, a path, and the name of that path, and I can define the controller. As you can see, I have a user and the user search query, and the controllers are the same. Both are user for this path. And I have not found the controller that redirects the user to the home. Okay, so how I solved the navigation widget, the 2 buttons to display the actual routing. I not really used Backbone for it because I don't want it to create a model and other things, so it's just a very basic solution. I will skip to the next step, but as you can see, I can declare a callback on routing events and do something on it. It's much more interesting, I think. I have a model, a view, and a template, and this will display the clock. The model is just a very basic thing, doing a set timeout event and constantly modifying the date value of it. And the view is just defines the template, define a model event, like changing the model, and binds this to the render event. So if I change the model by calling a set on this model and change something about it, then the result will be rendered. And it defines the model as well. So it's very basic. I added handlebars to the project and used handlebars templating here. I think it's a very common syntax for templating. Okay, so for the search, we have much more code. First of all, I declared a model for the query, and I declared the model for the results. It's not really a great model, but I used it because I had to. For Backbone, I have to use a model for a view, and I can only use one model for every view, so it's something like model view. But on the other side, Backbone model can do very complex things as well. So you can define composite properties and very interesting things there. Okay, so the search, it's very complex. First, I defined that it will use the user template. I defined there are regions. So actually, the results working as a subview here, and I rendered the results into this region. I defined my UI and the model and the events. So on the key up event on the user search ID, I call the onInputQuery method. I think that it's not really dry enough because I had to say the search field 2 times, and it's a lot of declaration happening here, but you will see it's possible to solve this problem with much less code or declaration. So on the input query, I do not so much things, just query. I fill the query based on the value of the input. I set the model and modify the actual URL based on if I have a query or not. And calling the doSearch method, and the doSearch method just renders me the ASCII code and the number of elements and binds it to the model. The template is very basic here, but let me show you that I had to declare an ID for the user search because I'm constantly querying the value of the query. It's just a one-way binding from the model to the view. Okay, so the next project is Ember.js, and the first version of it was released 1.5 months ago. I'm telling you these dates not because that I think it's very interesting if it was 1.5 or 1 month ago, but showing you that these projects are very new. They had recent releases, they are changing, and this field is very interesting. There are a lot of things happening here. So Ember.js has real models as Backbone. It has nice conventions. You don't really have to say that, okay, I have an index view, I have an index template, and please bind them together. But you just define that you have an index URL, and it will call the index controller and use the index template for that. So it can help a lot, and it's much more dry and less boilerplate from me. It has two-way data binding, so it's not just when I set the model, it will render the view, but when the view is changing, it will modify my model as well. So if the user enters something into the input, it will update the model. It also have support for components. They are actually views, but there are a lot of ready-to-use components, and also supports subviews. We will see soon. As Marionette helped you a lot about memory management, so removing event handlers and other objects like the view objects from the memory. it helps you a lot, also helps you a lot about it. I don't really like that Ember.js is a huge monster. It's much larger code than the two other one. It's about 2 times larger than the others. So I have a bad feeling about it, but if you are using it for web projects, not mobile, it's not so important, I think. So I have the router. I said that it doesn't really, you don't really have to declare which controller you would like to use, which template you would like to use. It just, you declare that you have a home path and its index, and it will use the index controller for it. I have not found the perfect way to do a redirection if the user mistypes the available path. This will just redirect you if you visit the root path. For the navigation, it was easy to solve the problem because it has some solutions for linking, and it can highlight the actual links. So I had to do nothing, just declare these links, and it will be blue. The index controller will be instantiated on visiting the home screen, and it's almost the same as the Backbone version. It's just doing a timeout, calling a set timeout, and constantly setting the date. I have no model objects here, but a controller model or objects, and I can set, it has properties, and I can set these properties. It works like a model view as well. The template is very basic. It's the same as before. So the search. I'm using a search field view. It's a component, and I declare the user results view. So this is a sub view here. And the results is very basic, nothing special. This is the declaration of the search field, the component. I had to declare it because there is no ready-to-use solution for creating an input that do something with key up events. It's just working when you press the enter. And I had to override the insert new line event here because if I wouldn't do that, then it will send 2 times the event on key up because it's a key up because the enter, and it's inserting a new line because the enter. And this is the controller. It's more or less the same. If I have a query, if I have a do search event by typing something, I just setting the URL and rendering the results. I had a problem that Ember didn't kill the user instance when I leave the path. So if I had some results on the page, went back to the home screen and went back again to the user screen, the URL was /user, but the results and the input, then the query was still there. So I wrote this code, and if you leave the view, it will clear the input and the results. I think it's very ugly code, but for the demonstration, I wanted to do it. So Angular 1.2 was not released a month ago, but it's just coming. It's much more declarative than other libraries. You declare a lot of things in your templates, and magic happens. It's using a much more HTML-like templating system and declaration, and has native live objects, so not really helps you about models. And I think it can be both a good thing and a bad thing. From the good point of view, you can use any kind of model you want. From the bad, that it's not really helps you. And as I said, there are a lot of magic happens here, and you have to understand this magic if you want to use it. So this controller declaration is nothing so special here. I just declared the path, the template, and the controller. For the navigation widget, I used something called a directive. It's like components, but you can use an HTML code and say you extend this somehow with this kind of directive. Or you can declare your own HTML elements, and it will magically just work. I won't talk about it more, but I really like these kind of solutions. So this is the main controller. It's just the same. Okay, I talk about it. So I have this $scope thing, and this is the objects bind together the controller and the view. And if you modify the scope, the objects, then it will modify the view. If something happens in the view, it will modify the scope objects. I just modifying the date property of it, and it will magically render it to the template, to the view. And if it won't render the whole thing, but only the element I modified. And this is for the query, the input. If I'm watching the scope, if the query is changing, if it's changing, then I'm modifying the path. As you can see here, I just declared that it's a query model, and I can use it here. And on the other side, the results controller, I created another controller here, and if the URL is changing, it will render the view and display the results. Okay, I'm finishing it very soon. We have different projects in Prezi. The actual version of the CRM or this admin thing is Backbone, but it's not really Backbone-ish. And we are working on the next version, and hopefully we'll release it in a month. By doing this research, it not just helped our projects, but other projects at the company. And we have now together 3 different Angular projects. and another Backbone one we are using for your page where you list your prezes. And I had another thing here. Okay, so I will just talk about it. So I had to tell you something that I did something like this before. So I did a decision about 5 years ago between two frameworks. It was Prototype and jQuery. And I don't know if you know Prototype, but I selected that project. That was a good decision that time, but I think Prototype at the moment is nowhere, no one using it. So that project had to be rewritten because it's not really updated these days and not the best solution. So I think the same may happen with the MVC frameworks, and it will end up in a year or two that Angular is not the best solution for every project, or a new project will come and you will see that, that's much better than Angular. The web is changing. There are web components and other standard projects going. So some parts will be just belong to the standard, and it will be easy to use in the future. So actually that's what I wanted to talk about. And if you have any questions, I'm here. I think I have not so much time for questions, so 2 questions.
So you said there's a lot of magic in Angular.js, and you need to understand the magic to really make use of the framework. How long did it take you to be comfortable with that magic?
I forgot to say, but all these MVCs had a very bad documentation. So all of them. And they have detailed documentation, but they are not really updated to the latest version, or not talking about how to use it all together, what are the use cases here. And it's the same for Angular's magic. Something is in the documentation, something is on Stack Overflow and on other forums, but there are not so much music if you count it. So this is this scope thing. You may have to be familiar with the directives, and so it's possible to learn it. There are good documentation on other sites about Angular, and there are a lot of videos and other things, so you can do it. I think it's in a week you can be familiar with it if you start discovering it and focusing on these magic things. So if you have no more questions, then I thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.